Hey everyone, it's Michelle. In today's video, I want to show you how I achieved this fairly no makeup look given the fact that today is a bad skin day. June is Acne Awareness Month, so I am trying to put out more content related to that topic because acne is something that I have been struggling with since my preteens. So to put it into context, I started breaking out maybe around 11, 12 years old. I am now 30 years old, and it's only been in recent times that I've seen such clarity and health in my skin. During that time, I've also had two really bad cystic acne breakouts, and the scars that you see on my face right now are the result from that. I have dabbled in many areas of skincare, the drugstore products, the green beauty products, the Asian beauty products, the high-end products, seeking professional help, being scared of professional help, going back to professional help. I have done all these back and forths, all these vicious cycles, and I now know what works for me, what doesn't work for me, and I feel good about what I will be sharing with you in the future. I didn't want to share content like this earlier just because I felt like my face isn't even cleared, so how can I tell you information that works when it's not even working for myself? But now that I am seeing the fruits of my labor, I finally feel ready to share a bit more with you all about my experiences and what I know about dealing with acne. So in today's video, we are going to start off with makeup. Again, how I achieved this no makeup type of look. I used to be someone that relied a lot on makeup to feel good about myself. If I had a couple of breakouts like this and some unevenness, I always felt like I needed to apply a full face of makeup. I couldn't even go to the corner store without applying so much makeup. And even when it came to my skincare routine and taking everything off, I rushed through it just because I did not want to see the bad state of my face. So it took a lot for me to get to the point where I'm having a bad skin day and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do a light face of makeup because that's what makes me feel good. Me and my wallet have learned the hard way that simple is indeed better. I don't feel the need to have all these products to feel like I look good. If anything, applying so much makeup just made me like more anxious and worried about my appearance because I was applying so much makeup that I was worried it didn't look natural, which for me it didn't because I wasn't good at applying makeup. And I found myself checking the mirror constantly to make sure that my face didn't look melty, didn't look cakey, I didn't look super run down, the foundation didn't oxidize, just all these issues that are associated with putting too much makeup on. So when I started cutting down the amount of products and layers of makeup that I was using, that's when I noticed I liked my skin a lot more despite the fact that I had a face full of breakouts. I remember years ago in a job when I had my second round of cystic acne, it was like all over my chin, my cheeks, creeping up to my forehead and neck. That's how bad this cystic acne was. I was going into work like that and being surrounded by my colleagues who had beautiful skin. You can't help but feel shitty about yourself. During that time, my mental health was at its worst. I felt like complete shit about myself. I felt desperate, felt anxious, just buying whatever I could, hoping it would just work quickly because my face was so bad. And then there was just one day when I was like, screw it, I don't care anymore. My face isn't gonna clear overnight. I just need to accept it for what it is. I felt like that alone helped make my skin feel clearer because I stopped giving so much of a shit about how I looked. And actually, I went to work for the first time without a full face full of makeup. If anything, I just wore a tinted sunscreen that day and maybe some eyebrow pencil and mascara. And I will always remember this moment that one of my colleagues, she said to me, "Wow, your skin looks amazing." She said that when I had a face full of cystic acne, and a lot of them were active, inflamed, painful acne, mind you. And she told me my skin looked really good. My jaw dropped. I couldn't believe that someone actually complimented me on how good my skin looked, given the fact that I had bumps all over my face. Talking to her and her just having that surprise reaction to how good my face looked when I didn't wear a lot of makeup was very, very uplifting. It felt really good to hear that. And it was from then that I realized that less is more. During the years, I obviously got into makeup, wanted to try full coverage, really liking to do the contour, the highlight, really crazy eyeshadow, all that stuff. But when it comes to my bad skin days and just what I feel the most comfortable in, it definitely is a more minimal look, just keeping it as light as possible, especially when it comes to complexion, because it not only looks better to me, but I also don't have the burden of wondering, does my makeup look okay? Because I had a really nasty habit of checking the mirror constantly to make sure my makeup was okay, that I was still looking fresh, not cakey, all that super fun stuff that comes with the territory of wearing a lot of makeup. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it. It works for a lot of people. But for me, I did learn with time that even on my really bad skin days, I prefer to do less with my complexion, and in return I feel like I do have a better relationship with makeup. I'm no longer relying on it as a crutch to feel good about myself and to feel better. If anything, I've now come to understand how to use makeup to the best of my abilities to enhance what I already have, to make my skin look as healthy as possible, given the fact that I do have acne. Apologies for the long introduction, but this has been something that I have wanted to share for a while and feel ready to talk about. I started my channel with the intention of sharing my experiences with products for my acne-prone skin, my clear skin journey, as well as just putting it out there in the world that you are not alone with your skin struggles. I, again, have gone through this struggle for over 10 years. I'm 30 years old. I'm still kind of going through it with these breakouts. But given that, I've just learned. I know more. I know what it's like to go through the ups and downs. And I've just come to terms with certain things about it. And it doesn't affect me as deeply as it used to. And I just want to put out there in the world that you're not alone in the struggle. Even if you don't have acne and you have some other skin concern, just know that there is one other person out there that thinks as deeply about this stuff as you do. Okay, I am getting a little bit emotional right now, but having said that, let's get into the video. Again, it's about how I achieved this no makeup look, considering today is a bad skin day. Okay, let's get started. This is the canvas that we are working with today. I'm filming this late afternoon, so I already did my morning skincare routine. If anything, I just refreshened my face by misting it, reapplying moisturizer and SPF. So that's the base we are working with today. I did go out for a walk earlier, and that I feel like my face already looks so much better. At the beginning of the day, my skin looked and felt a little bit more depleted of moisture. That's my bad on my part because I didn't use enough moisturizing products, but I was trying to keep it light because I knew I was going to go out for a walk, so I thought I would perspire a bit more because it's actually over 20 degrees here right now. Even so, I still feel like after going on that walk, my skin looked a lot better before freshening it up. So when I have a bad skin day, I can pretty much tell my skin barrier is impaired. There are quite a number of visual cues that I see to lead me to believe that it's happening, especially with how my skin feels. Right away, my skin always feels very sensitive. If I had any slight friction on my skin, it's like super irritated. The first visual cue I almost always notice when my skin barrier is impaired is that the texture of my skin is not looking good. Even if my skin feels like it's somewhat moisturized, it does not look that way at all. It looks a lot more textured. I see a lot more pores in the center of my face. My lines up here become a lot more obvious. Skin is just not looking as plump essentially. I also notice a lot of uneven skin color, so not just dullness, but quite a bit of redness, especially in the center of my face. And of course, breakouts, the most obvious reason I have impaired skin in the first place. Despite all these things that I notice on my face, I still have the goal of less is more. I just want to make my skin look as healthy as possible given the fact that it is not in its best shape. Just because I find that if I go really ham on the products, it'll just exacerbate my skin issues and it will impede the healing process. So if I do need to wear makeup for whatever reason on my bad skin day, I just want to make sure that I emphasize healthy skin no matter what. Keep it very light, keep it looking natural, because even if I have a lot of acne on my face, I find just emphasizing that healthy looking skin despite the spots looks a lot better than me doing a full coverage look. All right, to start off, I'm gonna actually go in with the Color Science Total Eye 3-in-1 Renewal Therapy SPF 35 PA3+. Just featured this in my top 5 sunscreen favorites, and I'm just going to apply a light layer around my eyes. I already applied some sunscreen there, but I would like to use this for a little bit of color correction. I don't know why, but today my under eyes, they're not looking its best. It's actually looking darker than usual. So I just pumped a little bit out and I'm gonna go like this. I don't do one eye at a time. That was just for the demo in my last video. If I didn't have any SPF in this area already, I would do 3 separate thin layers, but because I do, this is just to add that tint. And that's another thing I like about this eye SPF. It works on top of others. Right, that is one layer. My monitor's kind of far, but I could already tell it looks brighter right up to here. I'm gonna move on to brows. So I'm gonna start off with a brow pencil. This is the NYX Micro Brow Pencil in the color Ash Brown. I just want them to be a little bit more defined today. I can't believe it's been about 3 years since I last microbladed my brows and they still look really good. I always say this, but it was money well spent. So my eyebrows are kind of wet right now from the SPF and moisturizer, but that is okay because all I'm trying to do really is give a wash of color and shape with this pencil. And because the brows are microbladed, I don't need to use a lot. And I'm just doing strokes. All right, so the pencil filled in some of the spottier areas, and yeah, they look a little bit bolder now. Last step for brows is gel, so Glossier Boy Brow in the color brown, my favorite. Just really making sure I'm wiping off all the excess right now. I've noticed some people brush against the hair, so I started doing that, and I do feel like it makes my brows look a bit fuller, I guess. Definitely crazier at first, and then lightly brush. That's probably as bushy as I will ever get my brows. Moving on to complexion, I will be using these 2 products today. Both of these I have used on breakouts before or when my skin barrier was impaired, so I know that these don't exacerbate the problem while still providing the coverage that I want. So the first one here, which will be all over my face, this is the Nudestix Nudies Tinted Blur Stick. I have the shade Light 3, and this is the RMS Beauty Uncover Up Concealer in the shade 33. This was the first concealer that I used in 2016 when I was trying to do a more minimal makeup approach. I had a lot more breakouts on my chin area and I used this concealer to cover them up, also even out the center of my face, and it gave me a really nice no makeup look. So I have used these on inflamed and non-inflamed cystic acne breakouts before. It's never bothered my skin at all. So this has a base of coconut oil, and I've actually never experienced any problems applying this on inflamed and non-inflamed cystic acne breakouts. I've had the RMS Beauty Uncover Up concealers in my makeup collection since 2016 when I first tried them. I used shade 33 back then as well as 22, and the shade 33 is a repurchase. So again, for me, I don't experience any negative side effects from coconut oil, especially in a base of makeup. It just works for me, and so just continue using it if it works. So for the stick, basically what I wanted to do is not only even out this redness that I'm experiencing, provide just a little bit of light coverage and just diffuse the appearance of my texture. Okay, I'm gonna start with this side. So I'm gonna just go like that. Pretty much center of my face like I always do with concealer. And this spreads pretty easily. It doesn't feel dry at all. Very light, doesn't feel heavy. Very nice for on-the-go touch-ups and all that fun stuff that you do when you go out. All right, that is one light layer so far. As you can see, just nice light coverage, looks super natural. Doesn't look like I have anything on. I could already tell that this side looks a lot more even than this side right here. And you can build the coverage if you want. I'll see if I want to do that once I'm done with the first layer. As for the blurring effect, it's not 100% completely poreless, but it just helps to subdue them a bit, helps to make them look less exaggerated. I really like how this just melts into my skin. And just a bit more here. So that is one light layer of the Nude Sticks Tinted Blur Stick. From this distance, I think my skin looks more even, less red. I could probably use a little bit more in this area around my nose. And what I like about this product is that it's buildable and still looks very natural. Can't even tell it's on your skin. And it's just super easy to use. I think I'm just going to leave it like that with the tint, even though the redness around here is not 100% blocked. It's definitely subdued, and it's something that I'm comfortable with. All right, moving on to concealer. Again, RMS Beauty shade 33, and I'll be applying these on my breakouts. Typically when I have a few breakouts, it doesn't bother me that much, but because I do have quite a bit on my chin right now and they're still looking a bit red, I do want to add just a little bit more coverage, because that tinted blur stick is definitely not going to do enough. And I'm using the Rare Beauty concealer brush. I'm just dipping it into the pot and applying on the breakout. I thought this color was going to be a bit dark, but it's actually blending into my skin well. I know they have a shade now in between 22 and 33, so maybe that could be the next shade I pick up, but so far this one's working still. I have a blog post of a minimal makeup look using the RMS Beauty concealers, so I will leave that down below if I remember to dig it up for this video. Alright, and I think I'm gonna put some here because it's still quite obviously red. And as you can see on my chin, it's not 100% coverage, but it's a good amount of coverage where, again, it subdues the redness and it looks very natural. I think I'm gonna put a little bit on my nose, just light sweeps. I used to use 22 a lot for the center of my face for brightening, but don't have it. Like the tinted blur stick, I just like how this concealer melts into my skin so easily, looks super natural. Doesn't look like I have anything on my skin, and that is what I am going for with this no makeup look. I think that is it for complexion. Again, my goal was to just subdue that redness to make my skin look a bit more even, put a bit more coverage around these huge breakouts that are at the front of my face. The tinted blur stick also helped with the redness, subdue the texture on my skin, not completely eliminating the look of pores, just again, making them look more minimized. Next is, of course, blush, and today I think I'm going to be going for a more set-in Sunkissed look. So for that, I'll be using the Rare Beauty Soft Pinch Liquid Blush in the shade Love. This is the matte formula. It's a really nice terracotta type of shade, and when applied in certain areas, it definitely looks like you got kissed by the sun. I figured since the weather is getting a bit more summery, this is a nice color to use. To blend, I'll be using the Sephora Pro Diffuser 64 brush, my favorite for cream blushes. And I wipe off the excess like I did with the dewy one in my previous video. And I'm going to start with one cheek at a time because these do dry a bit faster. And I'm applying it as high as possible. So in my last video, I applied the blush all over my cheek area. For this, I'm just being more targeted to make it seem like, you know, the sun hit me. Hence, sun-kissed look. Get the lids too. I start off very lightly because, as we all know, these are quite pigmented. So you just want to add as you go along. And I'm gonna put it on the top of my head here as well, and super light amount on my nose. This kind of looks similar to my last video, but the effect is different and the products are different, right? I think I'm gonna add a little bit more to the higher part here. So I went past my orbital bone here. I'm gonna put a little bit on my Cupid's bow as well. Basically, I'm putting this on all the high points of my face, like where I would typically highlight, as well as, again, where the sun may hit me or where I would like it to hit. Okay, so that is one side with the blush, one side without. I think I kind of want to do it right here as well. Just a very light amount. Okay, and again, put it right there and blend quickly. Put a little bit more. That looks like a lot, so I'm going to take some away. And again, high points, bring it past the orbital bone. Make it real high, this blush. Now just a dot up there. Blend it in to my hairline. Other Cupid's bow quickly here. And then apply and just like that, I look like I had some sun. All right, I am done with applying the blush all over my face and neck here. Gonna be curling eyelashes now. I wanted to apply the blush on my lids first before I did this. I want to make my waterline a little bit fuller because I won't be going in with mascara. So I'll be using the Sephora eye pencil to go. And this is the shade, it's probably brown, deep brown, matte. I don't know how people waterline comfortably. I'm trying to keep my face and eye area relaxed as much as possible. You know how bad one can twitch when doing this. And poke your eye out. Get a little bit like this now on the top. I don't know why I'm trying to be fancy right now with this, but I don't know, I just felt like it. Okay, now run it lightly on the top here. Just putting a little bit more here. Let's not turn this into a smoky liner now. That is as good as it's gonna get, and maybe I should have curled my eyelashes after, but whatever, it's done. I'm not going to be going in with mascara today. I kind of like how my natural lashes look when I just curl them. So I'm going to move on to lips, and I have two options here. So I was thinking of applying the blush as a tint like I did in the previous video, or using the Rare Beauty liquid lipstick in the shade Love. I think I will show you what both of them look like. So let's just start off with the tint because it's the thinnest one. So I'm going to dip my finger in and then lightly rub the tint on. So that's what it looks like with Love on the lips as a tint. Looks fairly natural to me. And now I'm going to go in with the liquid lipstick in the color Love. So I'm just going to wipe off excess to start. And apply. I mean, the color is really pretty with this look, but it definitely looks a little bit makeup-y, so I'm gonna remove it. Okay, so it created a really nice blotted look, so it definitely goes with the no makeup theme I have going on. And with that being said, this makeup look is complete. So as you can see, it looks very skin-like, as natural as we can make it look given the fact that we're using makeup. I subdued the redness, minimized the look of texture on my skin, and just pretty much enhanced what I already have. Given that today was a bad skin day for me and I still have some visible issues with my skin, I just like that my overall complexion looks healthier and it doesn't make me feel like my skin is looking run down today. So that was pretty much the goal of this makeup, is just to feel good and keep it simple despite the fact that I wasn't feeling too great about my skin. I know when we have bad skin days, the automatic reaction is to go for something fuller coverage, really try to hide it, but I hope what this video shows is that you can still have a healthy looking skin appearance if you just know the proper techniques and you just keep it simple. Just let your skin do its thing, let it heal. As you can see, while my redness is not 100% covered, same with my breakouts, I feel like given the fact that this was a bad skin day for me, my skin looks a lot healthier than when I started today, and that was what I was going for. I just wanted to give the look that my skin was healthy, and I achieved it by using minimal coverage. And that is it for this video. As always, I hope you enjoy my content, and I hope the message I was trying to convey in this video has been well received and understood, that we don't need to rely on makeup as a crutch to feel really good about ourselves given our skin conditions, and that we can enjoy makeup, enhance the health of our skin given the fact that we have a skin condition. I am 30 years old now, still dealing with it. It's just what the cards have been given to me, and you know, I don't need to let that define me anymore and make me feel less of myself. With this way of doing my makeup, I find I'm no longer losing myself in the process, and I have come to really accept my skin for what it is, despite what I find problematic with it, such as the acne, the texture, all that stuff. Despite all of that, I feel like I look like my best self, and this is on my bad skin day. If you did enjoy this video, please be sure to give it a like, subscribe to my channel down below for future videos, leave a comment if you have any questions or recommendations, and I will see you all soon. Ciao.